Oh boy! Hello, it's Philly Cuts with another episode of the Hump Day Haul, the Wednesday new release comic book haul, where I showcase my stack of comics. I think I got about 10 this week. I don't know, it's no big whoop, dudes. I just kind of leaf through what comics I bought and I kind of try to talk about them. Even though I've been severely backlogged, like I said in my last episode, or the episode before, I don't remember. What is this, number 33? We're on number 33. I can't believe that we are fast approaching 1 year that I've been doing these hauls. And I gotta tell you, I've been a bit distracted this last month due to various reasons. I got a lot of things going on. Number one, I got a lot of information gathering to do on the Manny Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather fight. I am so excited about this fight on Saturday that I can't tell you. I've been a big boxing fan. Manny Pacquiao is my man. I love Manny Pacquiao. I hate Floyd Mayweather. I respect Floyd Mayweather, but I hate him. I think he's a little bit boring, his fighting style. Very, very defensive fighter. Great counterpuncher. Stark contrast to Manny Pacquiao's more action-oriented, aggressive, some say reckless fighting style. He's a southpaw, a type of fighter that Floyd doesn't have a lot of experience fighting, although he has fought some pretty good southpaws. I think Zab Judah. And I'm excited to see what happens. So I'm probably going to do a pre-fight thoughts video on that probably tomorrow. I just watched the final press conference today, and boy, did Manny look relaxed. Manny looked good. I thought Floyd looked a bit nervous at times. He looked like he was under a lot of pressure. Manny, the whole time smiling. Classic freaking Manny. Even at some points he was on his phone, texting. So that was one of the distractions. Another one of the distractions is that I've been seeing a new woman. Things are going really, really well. I've been a bit nervous about my comic book habit, okay? Now I'm trying to find a text that she had sent me. Okay. I've been nervous about my comic books, right? Because, I'm from an era where collecting comic books and stuff, I'm in my mid-30s, going back to, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, you collected comics and stuff. You were considered like a nerd, it just wasn't a cool thing to do. And from what I understand, stuff like this in schools and high schools is a lot more accepted. Or just nerd culture is a lot more accepted. Back when I was in, high school and stuff, you were a nerd if you were a nerd. It wasn't a cool thing. It wasn't something, that people embraced. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it still is like that in high school. I haven't been in there for almost 20 years. So I don't know. But, great woman that I met named Sarah. And things are going really well. We went to Boston this past weekend. I was afraid to let her into my apartment at first. I mean, as you can see, I do have some comic book stuff around. If you look back there, there's an Iron Man mask on my kitchen countertop. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll give you an apartment tour. But I have all kinds of video games everywhere. I have Amiibos. I have comic books hung on my wall. I got, stuff in my bedroom, I'm a man-child, people, and that really made me nervous. But she was so accepting of it. She was actually very interested. And that was great, man, because I've dated girls before where they weren't into it, and they didn't understand it. And, I've had women, believe it or not, come over here and see my stuff. And I remember one time one woman was like, boy, you have a lot of toys. And she didn't say it like it was a good thing. I think she said it like I was some sort of, pedophile or something. It was just... And we didn't have very many dates after that. So it always made me kind of weary. But I want to stay true to myself, you know? And I almost got to a point where before Sarah was going to come hang out and stuff, I was going to, like, hide my stuff. And, because I was so nervous about it, you know? I don't know. Have any of you guys ever been in a situation like that? I kind of feel bad and upset at myself that I was kind of having those kind of thoughts and doubts, not only about her, but also doubts about staying true to myself and staying true to who I am, you know? So it was just nerve-wracking. And one of the texts that she sent me before we went to Boston, okay? I don't want to show you guys too much explicit stuff, but she made a suggestion, you know, to go to a comic book shop while we were in Boston this past weekend. Comicopia, as you can see. She wrote, "We can go to a comic book shop while we're in Boston. Look what I found." Yes. Aw, Comicopia. All right, enough about that, but I just wanted to know, guys, if you've ever had a situation like that in your life. Like, were you ever a little nervous to share your hobby with a new girlfriend or a new girl in your life? And let me know how you handled it. Did you have any reservations like I did? Or were you the man of steel and were able to say, "Phil, you're just a pussy," for even having those kind of thoughts or doubts? I would love to know what you guys think, because I think it's something that we all come across, right? If we're into comic books, we're into toys, collecting toys, maybe we're into gaming, you know, kind of like nerdy culture kind of hobbies. Although gaming and stuff, it's not really, I mean, it's so mainstream now, I don't even know if you could call it a nerd hobby anymore. It's not like it was when I was a kid, really. All right, huge stack. Convergence, we're going to start out DC. DC still has Convergence stuff going on full force, but they're, I guess, releasing, some of their titles are still coming out, the regular titles, and I did not know that. So I was real surprised when I checked on Fresh Comics this week for the new releases to find out that not only was Batman coming out, number 40 this week, and I bought the movie variation cover. This is The Mask, right? You remember that Jim Carrey movie? Great movie. Joker. Kind of reminds me of Jack Nicholson's Joker, doesn't it? Not only did this come out this week, but also Superman, number 40. And that's a Shaft variation. So here with Batman, we have part 6 of Endgame. And what a story that has been. And in this issue, all I'm going to say is that Snyder and Capullo deliver one of the most epic Batman versus Joker fights I think you're ever going to see. And the ending may be one of the most epic endings you've ever seen, too. Some may say even tragic. But I don't want to give away anything in this. I don't even know if I want to show any of the panels of the fighting. I might, keep this pretty spoiler-free, because I know that I'm kind of known for giving out spoilers, but I really don't want to spoil this one. But I'm just going to say that this fight is epic. It's epic. And there was huge ramifications throughout this whole story arc. I will spoil this. Alfred, okay, he got his hand cut off by the Joker in the last issue. And it looks like they're not going to be able to save it. So that's okay. I'll give you guys one spoiler. Look at, there's Alfred there, and he has a new stump. Alfred, Stumpy Alfred, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Alfred. Maybe I can imagine, with all the money that Bruce Wayne has, they're going to build him some kind of bionic arm or something. He's going to be all Luke Skywalkered after that. But I got to tell you, this fight is epic. It's epic. And it also toys around with the whole story of Joker's origins. And Scott Snyder kind of introduces an element of supernatural or like immortal possibilities to the Joker. It's like a supernatural thing. He has this special element. I think it's called Dionysium. Some sort of Dionysium that may be keeping the Joker like immortal. I will show you one little picture of his face in this. We all know how much Scott Snyder and Capullo have loved to distort Joker's face. Death of the Family. He cut off his face. This one he's getting all hamburgered up. But great issue. Looks to be a great issue, rather. And I can't wait to read it. I'm probably going to read that first. Superman number 40. Okay. This is no Jeff Johns, and this is the writer. It's the first issue where I guess it's John Romita Jr. is doing the writing and the penciling in this. And it kind of toys around with Superman and his new solar flare power, or super flare power. That's that new power that Superman gets where he can create this huge solar flare burst that goes all over. It's like an atomic explosion. But there's a big caveat. When he uses this power, he becomes human for a day, meaning he no longer has any of the superpowers associated with being the Man of Steel. Kind of scary, isn't it? Man, I'm scratching a lot. Itchy. Went out in the shorts. It was 70 degrees today here in Albany, New York. I had to go out, you know. Anyway, he is trying to figure out what is up with his power. What is up with this power? What triggers it? It seems to have come to him after fighting Ulysses. He seemed to have acquired this power somehow. But Superman is still a bit perplexed. Like, what triggers this power? I'm trying to understand it. And he kind of recruits the help of the Justice League to help him figure this stuff out. Now, there's an interesting thing that Romita writes in here. Superman, it looks like he gets drunk. And apparently this has never happened in a Superman comic. Look at this. The Justice League and Superman are out at a bar, people. This is kind of reminiscent of the Green Lantern. Oh, I don't know what it was. Green Lantern 37, the issue right after the Godhead story, where Green Lantern goes out in Coast City and he knocks back a few, goes back to planet Earth to knock back some beer. And look at him. He's on the fucking bar, people. It looks like he only had a couple sips of a brew. Look at this. 1, 2, and he's out? What's up with that? Maybe the solar flare makes him, the super flare makes him super susceptible to alcohol. I don't know. And it looks like he's waking up hungover, too. So you got to read this issue, find out what the hell's going on. And I want to learn more about the super flare power, if they give you any more hints in there. So that should be real interesting. Marvel Comics, my only entry is Princess Leia. And Princess Leia goes back to this underground world of Solust. And the Empire is hot on her trail. This is after, the Death Star has been blown up. Darth Vader and the Empire are pissed. Princess Leia is going on a mission. She's traveling around the galaxy to find fellow Organians. I don't know what it's called. She's Princess Leia Organa, right? Wasn't that the name of her planet? No, her planet was Alderaan. I'm sorry. Alderaan got blown up in Star Wars, if you don't remember. In Star Wars, they demonstrated the power of the Death Star on her home planet, Alderaan. They literally blew it up. Apparently, a lot of Alderaans, of course, weren't on the planet when that happened. They were scattered around the universe doing God knows what, visiting other planets, hanging out on spaceships. She decides to go out and around and try to find them. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is my least favorite artwork out of all the new Star Wars books. It just doesn't look like Carrie Fisher, really. I mean, there she is. I don't know. I can't get through it, but I figure this is only going to be 4 issues. I already bought the first 2. It already reminds me so much of Sinestro and what his whole deal is, and he's trying to round up his people and save his people. I guess the Korrigans, I think they're called, around the universe. So it reminded me so much of Sinestro, I had to get it. So whatever, man. That's what I had to get. Now, this was a big week for me in Image Comics. I got 4 titles from Image Comics. The first being John Arcudi, James Herron, Dave Stewart, Rumble people, Ratgrath, the scarecrow that's looking for his body. He's like a soul, and it's inhabiting a scarecrow body, but he wants his regular body back, which is like the strapping, bucking beast of a body. This is just great classic John Arcudi, James Herron. You know, it's like a Hellboy team book. And the artwork and the coloring in this book is just incredible. Dave Stewart is one of the best colorists in the business, I believe. I love Dave Stewart. I love this whole team. I love this book. This is the end of the first story arc. It kind of leads up to a big battle with Rathclaff in the Babe's Big Blue Barn. This is kind of like what he's got waiting for him here. Look at that rogues gallery of monsters he's walking into. I can't wait to see what happens. He's a scarecrow. He's kind of like, oh, I don't know. He's like an anti-hero, you know? He's not exactly like the best of dudes. He's not exactly like pure all-American Superman type hero. He's got issues. But look at the artwork in this. I mean, it looks great, man. That's kind of like the body Rathcraft wants to get back into, you know? They have his body, man. He's got disassociation issues or something, people. Lots of battling in this. I mean, it's just amazing. The artwork is amazing. Flaming, demonic creatures. I mean, I love this book. I highly recommend it. Look at that face that only a mother can love. Great book. Go check it out. Okay. Outcast. This is the Exorcist comic by Kirkman. He's the guy that does The Walking Dead. He's the writer of The Walking Dead. In this issue, I guess you kind of get more of the priest. I forget what his name is. Oh my God. Let me cheat and see if I can look it up. I don't remember everybody's name and the 30-plus titles I read. Give me a break. Reverend Anderson, okay? I guess Reverend Anderson feels that he is becoming possessed by the devil himself. And the main character in this tries to help him come to terms with it. I forget what his name is, but look at this shit. He's like carving pentagrams into his chest, people. I mean, how satanic is that? Get a gander of that, folks. I mean, he is just all over the place. He is losing it, folks. He's losing it. And this is just a great kind of slow burn story. You know, if you're a big fan of good dialogue, good character development, with a creepy undertone, you're going to love this book. I fell in love with it. A couple of the viewers out there, J-Rocks and DNA Comics, recommended this book to me, and I'm glad they did. I bought the first trade of it, and I've been buying the floppies ever since, and I'm real happy with it. So check out Outcast if you're into that. Bitch Planet, number 4. Bitch Planet. The women who are on this prison planet. This is a challenging book, people. It takes a look at the male patriarchy that we are all living in now, right? We still live in a pretty much male-dominated society. This book, written by, who is it? DeConnick? What is it? Marianne DeConnick? I can't remember her name. She really, puts in some challenging things in this book. It's up to issue number 4. I guess every third issue they do an origin story of the characters. The first origin story was on Penny Roll. She's this big black woman, no nonsense, takes no shit. She knocks heads. You look at her the wrong way, you're in fucking trouble, pal. That's how Penny rolls. This issue, you kind of are dealing with the trope of the obligatory shower scene. That's like one of the things that this book is doing. It kind of explores like sexist stuff in film and in movies, I guess. Kind of like exploitative stuff, and it kind of puts a twist on it. So in this issue, it's kind of like the shower scene. And I guess the prison guards in here, work out some sort of arrangement with the ladies. They let the ladies kind of get it on with one another, but the stipulation is, I guess, is that they get to watch. You see, the ladies, there's Penny Roll in there. I mean, they're just having a good time. You know, that's classic obligatory, you know, like the sleepover kind of pillow fight that we all fantasize the girls have, right? They're just partying and rocking in the shower. I guess apparently I think homosexuality is outlawed on this prison planet, this prison outpost. Forget what it's called. It's an auxiliary something site. But they let the guards peep through the walls. You see that peeper there? Kind of reminds me of Porky's. You remember that movie Porky's and the famous shower scene in that movie? Probably unless you're around my age, you're not going to remember Porky's. Canadian film. Meet Tuparello. Yeah. So it kind of... voyeurism, you know? Kind of creepy. Kind of creeping me out, you know? Creeping out the guy with the big glasses. With the toys in his apartment. You got nice toys. Never forget that shit. Alright. Couple comics that I got, I've, like, kind of forgot about because they hadn't come out in months. First one is The Devilers, okay? This is number 6. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't remember too much of what was going on in this issue. You want to know why? I looked it up. The last time that this issue came out, this is Dynamite Comics. It's about 7 different exorcists, okay, from all different faiths. They get together to fight like the devil himself. Hell is cracked open. There's demons everywhere pouring out of hell. Armageddon on earth. These 7 exorcists from 7 different faiths have to get together and defeat fucking Satan. I mean, how could you ask for anything more? I couldn't. Joshua Hale, Falaco, Matriano. Anyway, this last came out, issue number 5, December like 24th on Christmas Eve. And it hadn't come out since, and there was like no notification about it. I think the first couple months I was looking for this, and I never saw it on Fresh Comics after that. So I kind of forgot about it. So what is up with that? That's like 4 months. 4 months between issues coming out. And it's number 6 in a 7-issue series. So that's just like, what is up with that? That's like one of the things that I don't really understand about some of these independents. I don't know if it's like a financial thing, which is why they do that. I guess I've read, too, some people have told me that sometimes these independent comics will start putting stuff out, and then if it's not selling well enough, the series will just abruptly end. So it's kind of like, Jesus, man, it's kind of like making me second guess sometimes whether or not to invest in this, you know, in an independent series. Anyway, the cliffhanger ending in the last issue is that one of the exorcists was actually the devil in disguise. And I forget which faith it was. I don't know. You know, you might start a controversy if you're saying that the exorcist that was from this faith is the devil. Speaking of which, huge controversial panels in this book. I think the atheist character is meets this big Jesus, and well, he ends up doing something, and I'm not going to show you. It's in the last panel, but he meets this big Jesus character, okay? And I'm just going to go to the crotch shot. He, you know, does something there, and then in the final panel, they're going to show you what he does. And I just want to say it's very controversial. It's probably one of the most controversial panels I've ever seen, and possibly distasteful, depending on what your thoughts are on Jesus Christ, that I've ever seen, man. So if you want to check that out, and if you love books that deal with people battling Satan and the devil, this may be your book. The artwork is not the best, man. A lot of the artwork is just kind of like, it really takes you a while to figure out, like, what you're looking at. I don't know. Can you even make out what that is? My camera certainly doesn't help either. But take a long look and see if you can figure out what that is. Because it took me about a minute. Maybe that helps. Does that help? I don't know. You let me know. You let me know what you think you saw there, because that was one of my complaints about that book. The other book that kind of took a hiatus was God Killer #4. This is probably one of the most challenging books that I've ever read, just because it's just heart-wrenching subject matter and disturbing. There's a character in this, a young boy. I guess he's probably about 15 or 16, maybe 17. It's kind of like a coming-of-age tale. He's in this world that is just apocalyptic world. He needs to find a heart for his 14-year-old sister. There's people on this planet that deal in organs. And he just goes through the ringer trying to get his sister a heart. Some of the things that had to happen to this kid in this book are just heart-wrenching. I mean, he gets raped, he gets pillaged. I mean, it's a depressing book. This week, I don't have the most uplifting of books, that's for sure. But I like being challenged sometimes. Sometimes I think people just put things in books, certain writers, certain artists, for shock value. Certainly that Devlers thing, I think it's pretty much shock value there. But this, a book like this, it's very, very challenging. And I really hope that the character, I think his name is Tommy, finds his sister's heart. And I guess he starts to learn about some sort of special alchemy in this issue that is going to benefit him and that is going to help him. So I'm really looking forward to that. The whole book kind of has like a really dark, I don't know, cyberpunky, post-apocalyptic look. If there's anything that, you know, I don't know fucking technical terms for art. I just read comic books. But it's just very kind of dour looking art. You know, it really sets the tone. So you may want to check that out. Come on. All right. Boom Comics. Plunder. This is that crazy book where these Somali pirates go on an abandoned Chinese illegal immigrant smuggling boat, and there's all kinds of monsters and shit on it. Turns out maybe some of these monsters might just be hallucinations. We don't know. It's being investigated. They find a lone survivor in the last issue on this Chinese immigrant boat. It's a female, and she unloads more information in this issue, lets our people know what is going on. Oh my God, it's my lady friend. We may have to cut this video short. Hold on one second. Hello? Hey. You got your award? You're cutting out. Did you get your award?
I got my award. I didn't trip. I didn't fall.
Good for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. What are you going to do with the award? Did your principal say you could put it up on your office wall? You didn't ask her? Hello?
No, I didn't ask her.
You didn't ask her. Okay. I can't hear you very well. Final issue, folks. Burning Fields. I gotta go. You there?